Hey, what up? It's Owen from Real Social Dynamics sitting here in Central Park in New York City. And what I'm going to talk to you about today is the power of recognizing the litany of excuses that your mind is using to lie to you and rationalize to you and create self-sabotage mechanisms so that you won't approach the women you want. Now, even though we're going to cover in depth the way that your mind is tricking you, why your mind is tricking you, how your mind is tricking you, and how you're making all these crazy excuses that are messing up your dating life. In truth, this video is a metaphor for life in general. Because when you see how your mind is making up excuses when it comes to meeting women, you'll see how your mind is making excuses to prevent you from having success, to prevent you from enjoying your happiness, and to prevent you from reaching your full potential. So what we're going to do right now is crack into an infield coaching program where I ran around here in New York in bars and clubs and the streets, pushing students, pushing myself to approach girls, and we're going to break down in detail the way that your mind is lying to you, the way that your mind's tricking you, and show you how you can come out the other side victorious, having beaten those excuses, understanding it, overpowering it, and creating a life of your own design. Let's do it.
I'm a lone wolf. I'm a
Fuck rationalizations. Now is the time to rise. I have to go, but pleasure to meet you.
I'm hungry. Do you know where pizza?
Where I like to eat is a place called Miss Korean Barbecue. It has like a really high quality steak and chicken. We're gonna do a rooftop party tomorrow if you want me to give you an invite.
Thank you. Give me a call.
Okay. One of the things that I think is the most unfortunate as far as understanding excuses is that the majority of people in life have never spent 3 or 4 hours straight just approaching everybody that they see. And the way that this stifles you is that you've never had an opportunity to access the frame of mind that you'd be in if you were totally just putting yourself out there, chatting with everybody, laughing it up, having fun with everybody. Most people have never done that, and for that reason, they don't understand how their frame of mind will shift when they force themselves to get out of their head and out of their comfort zone. Now, what I want you to do is make a decision to become one of these people if you never have before, okay? I want you to make a decision right now that you're gonna go out tonight and talk to everybody that you see. And the frame of mind that I want you to be in as you do this is to take notice of how your selective perception is changing the more people who you talk to. So there's something I want you to look up right now before you do it. It's called Reticular Activation System, RAS. And what that's going to tell you is that human beings, we have this thing called selective focus. So in one frame of mind, when you're going out, your selective focus could be on everything that could go wrong when you approach everybody. All the things that could embarrass you, all the ways that you could be rejected, all the ways that you could feel stupid. And this will feel very, very real when you're in that frame of mind. Now, conversely, what can also happen over time is that your selective focus shifts to having a reason to approach everybody. So rather than seeing a threat or an excuse or a reason not to approach, your selective focus, your RAS, starts focusing on why you should approach. This is very, very critical because when you're approaching from a frame of mind that you're seeing excuses and reasons not to and why you shouldn't do it, your mind is messing you to the point that it's just really difficult to talk to anybody. But conversely, when you get to a point where it's just you see, oh, it's a great opportunity, oh, she wants to talk to me, oh, it's very easy, then approaching girls is like this effortless experience. And it's important that you've had both types of experiences because unless you have, you don't understand how your mind is messing with you and you don't understand that experience is very, very subjective and can change depending on what's going on. So that being the case, go out tonight and have that experience of talking to everybody. And here's what I want you to take notice of. When you're first starting, the typical experience that you're gonna have is your mind is loading you up with threats and excuses. And it's gonna look something like this. The girl will be walking by and say, oh, she's got somewhere to go. That would be rude for me to approach. That's just rude, I don't wanna do that. Or maybe the girl looks too pretty for you. You think, oh, I couldn't do that, she's too beautiful. That's not for me. Or maybe the girl is not pretty enough for you, and you're like, oh, I don't wanna talk to her, she's not hot enough. Maybe the girl's not your type, you start to think you have a specific type. Maybe she's with a dude. Maybe she's with a big group of girls and you can't stop her. Maybe she's trying to get into a club and you know that it just would be kind of weird to try to stop her, whatever it is. Now, notice how your mind is playing massive tricks on you because here's what's crazy. If you were to actually see that same group of people towards the end of the night when you've been approaching everybody, all of a sudden your mind would be doing the opposite. That girl really could be like making out with a dude. Your brain's like, she probably wants me to come up, That's probably just some guy she just met and she'd like it if I approach instead. Your mind will actually do that to you. It's kind of crazy. So really what will happen is as the night progresses, your selective focus will change, and your major goal when going out is actually to force what I call that RAS flip. Because once your selective focus is switched, the game just gets so easy. It becomes incredibly easy to talk to everybody. But unless you've actually had that flip before and observed it and seen how at the start of the night it seems impossible that you talk to everybody, but by the end of the night it seems impossible not to talk to everybody, unless you've seen that switch in your subjective experience, the experience of approaching women will just seem so difficult to you. Now, this is really the first step in understanding your experience with meeting women, because ultimately all these excuses flowing in your head come from this weird element of your subjective perception. What kind of excuses do you have on like these groups of girls here? Like when you see that girl there by the tree, what's your first excuse? She's on the phone, she could be waiting for a guy. Now the truth is it really the end of the world if I just go say hi? It's all extremely openable. Next one I can make an excuse. What's your ancestral background? You look like a mix, so I couldn't tell.
Like what?
I don't know, that's why I asked.
Yeah, I've been a model. I just like have working.
Before you go, meet my friend. Come. I like the giant fur. I need to get one like that. Did he get it for you?
No.
It'd be helpful right now.
That's very cool. Some interactions are better than others, right? Like that girl there, she's kind of like a shy Indian girl. She's with a shy Indian guys. You know, it's not necessarily the best personality fit for what my game is built for. What's the advantage? What do I gain by going into stuff like that?
It's momentum. You can see it building, you can feel it.
You can see it building. It's slow,
Yeah, you can see it.
but you can see it building, right? How about the girl behind you here?
So hot,
She's
so
tall,
cute,
hot,
classic.
etc., like that kind of thing, right? I like this jacket.
Thank you.
Yes. Wait, you have to meet her.
Hi. Oh, are you a model as well?
Quick little merger there. All right, so once you've had this experience of going out and meeting tons of people and watching how your subjective experience of meeting those people changes, and watching how your mind goes from creating tons of excuses and finding millions of reasons not to approach somebody to suddenly you want to approach everybody and it's like just an approach free for all. Well, like I said, once you've done that, all of a sudden you got to ask yourself, why is that happening? Why is your brain doing that to you? Why is your mind coming up with excuses that are sabotaging you and fucking up your life? Now, in my experience, I've gone through these different phases and started to ask these questions, and the basic answer that I came up with over time was that your brain can't actually talk to you. So your brain can't say, hey, Owen, you don't know what's going on here. Don't just go approach everybody. That's kind of weird. So your brain actually tries to protect you and comes up with all these crazy excuses in order to make sure that you don't get killed. Now, I've talked about this in other videos because in my opinion, this is one of the most single important understandings in all of success of women, and unless you get this, your experience of meeting girls is gonna be shit. So I repeat this in videos quite often, and it's basically that your brain needs proof, not promises, that you're not gonna get killed. So a lot of people think that approaching women is scary because the girls are gonna reject you and you're gonna feel bad. And I think that's definitely an element of it. But in my opinion, there's this whole other side of it that very few people talk about, which is that your mind unconsciously is actually afraid that other alpha males are gonna come and fucking kill you. And the simple reason why is because we've evolved from caveman tribes where, let's say that you walked into a group of 150 people who you didn't know, and you just walk up and you start hooking up with the different girls, some other alpha male is going to kill you potentially. So anybody that didn't evolve this mechanism said, hey, whoa, don't do that. Don't approach anybody, and actually blocked you. Anybody who didn't have that mechanism probably got weeded out. That being the case, when you feel your mind making up all these crazy excuses, realize that you're actually emotionally healthy. It's good that your brain is producing these excuses, but the question is, how is it also limiting you, and how do you push through it so your experience of meeting people can be enhanced?
I'm cognizant of the excuse-making mechanism of my brain. It's crazy. When I should look at a girl now, I'm like, fuck, there's literally a cloud of excuses going through my head that I didn't even see.
Yes, it's a huge cloud.
Also, you're not trying. Like, I go into a set and I'm like, I'm wanting something. I want to get that attraction. If I don't, it's a part of me that's like, ugh.
I call that baking a cake. It's just
Yeah.
completely process oriented. My ego is actually invested in the process. Like, I view it like I'm superior to all the chodes because I do this. And the other chodes are trapped in this stupid ego mechanism. Like, they're just liars. They're just a bunch of liars. They're like, yeah, I'm so great. I'm so cool. Exactly. And the truth is, the amount that we get results at this point is so high. And you do have to completely let go in order to get the results. So I let go of the results. I view it like people that don't have this kind of process. they're definitely unaware. Other than a sociopath, I don't know anybody that's just rocket and ready to go all the time on 9s and 10s. I just don't see it, except sociopaths who are, right? They're totally ready. Now, if I'm on my own, I do tend to push through the warm-up faster, but at the same time, I like to do it a little more slowly on the program because I've done this for years, so I tend to go through it a bit fast, but I try to like slow it down a bit deliberately on the program so you can see the progression and identify and relate with the progression. Here's a major key point with this too, okay? So you're gonna have variation in responses, and a lot of the time, it can just be one girl just being super nice to you that actually snaps you in gear too. And the thing is, it's usually these like kind of shyer girls. If you're kind of shy, it's usually these shyer girls that'll sit and talk to you for a bit, but you'll find that you'll like get these more shyer girls that will kind of talk to you. And then that actually gets you in a conversational flow. So even if you've been working all week and you haven't chatted with somebody all week, you're fine. Now, by the way, when it's gonna crack, and this is the key of when it cracks, is when you stop trying to get to an end goal. It's always at the start where you're trying to make it work, and you're trying to get in an end goal instead of getting associated to the fun of the night. You'll get in a flow when you stop trying to make things go somewhere and do something, and you get associated just to your night in general.
Whatever you first say or do, you just let it come in the present moment?
Yeah, I do. Because trying hard means that you care. Like you're trying to like get some other result, whereas I don't really care about the result. I just want to do my process. In fact, I actually view a long bad night as funny. Like if I had a really horrible night, I would perceive that as very funny. I'd be like, wow, because I know that after really bad nights, I have incredible nights after. So if I'm having a horrible night, I'm like, yeah, this is building up. It's like when you bounce the ball, if I'm getting bounced that hard down, I know that the up is going to be really high. Are you Greek?
Yes.
Nice. Good to meet you. I'm a quarter Greek.
Hi, good to meet you.
How's your day going? How are you guys doing?
Hi, good. I'm
Good.
Polish
What's
and
up, dude?
Irish, but I'll hug you.
You got it.
He's
You got it.
trying. He's trying.
How do you guys know each other?
Just friends. Just friends.
Really?
Friends.
English major. Okay. Got it.
Sci minor, so.
I almost took some poli-sci courses when I was in, what's up, dude? Owen. When I was in college, and then I was too afraid of it.
It's interesting stuff. I'm a paralegal now, so that's
Really?
stuck more.
Did you ever study like John Rawls and Robert Nozick and stuff like that?
No.
No? I did some philosophy courses. It was like that. It was kind of cool.
I like to read.
Got it. That's cool. I'm gonna go to Brass Monkey.
Oh, have
Good to meet you
fun.
guys.
Yes, you too.
Good to meet you. See you later.
See you later.
A lot of them kind of just start like that. Like that's just kind of how they start, right? If you walk in friendly and you're not trying that hard, you start generating good interactions. Now, the major thing there I would change about the last interaction is I was still a bit in wanting to do something with it. A bit of that. But it wasn't bad. I was actually enjoying it. But there's still, you can feel an inner tension inside of you that kind of wants to do something.
Yeah, totally.
You'll still feel it. It eases away as you interact more. So you're doing it, the interaction becomes the payoff rather than trying to make something out of it. And ironically, the more that the interaction itself becomes the payoff, the more cool that you look because you look like you're in abundance. And then the girls start to view the other guys as low status. Because the more that you're just enjoying the interaction, the more that you communicate abundance to the girls. Say that the other two guys are there and they're like, we've got to get these girls, you know, to the next club, or, you know, they're talking to this guy and is he gonna steal them and like that? And then their status drops and then your status goes up. Now, ironically, they could be jealous because he's letting her live in his home, giving her half his money, and he doesn't want some dickhead talking to his woman, right? But the girl will literally give more credit to you because you're just not needy than to that guy for spending 100 grand on her a year. So literally, like, you actually overpower everything that guy might have done just with the non-neediness. It's crazy how it works.
Can you sort of elaborate a little bit on how this interfaces with the fact that I noticed you're not really going direct?
I don't go direct. I'm also not indirect. I mean, I have no problem being like, hey, you're a pretty girl, what's up? I can do that my next set. It's all the same to me. I believe that women are going so much off the vibe that direct or indirect, I don't even think they notice. I don't even think they notice the words that you're saying. I think what you're saying is pretty arbitrary. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I just noticed that, for example.
Direct or indirect to me is more like if you're squared in or
Totally.
not squared in.
Like you're not going with a strong kind of like sexual
Yeah,
vibe.
I am whatever I am.
Yeah.
If I feel like going in directly, I will. If I don't, I won't. I am whatever I am in that moment.
You're just letting it flow, basically.
Yes. Now I'm doing that to align myself in congruence. So I want my behavior to feel congruent. I've habituated being congruent. I know that you probably have a massive fantasy of going out into any environment, immediately feeling so confident, so sure of yourself that you can talk to anybody, approach anybody, and have total access to all your charisma, all your wit, and never have to worry about this again. Now, I understand feeling that way, and I think that all of us want to be loved for who we are and not to have to go through a process of switching around our minds and, you know, getting our minds to kind of stop making excuses and suddenly just sort of egg us on to talk to everybody. Now, I get that, I understand it, and look, On one level, it's good to have that aspiration and to move in that direction, but on another level, I'd ask you this. Why is it that when a comedian gets on stage, they oftentimes start walking the room? Why is it that even for me, when I go on stage when I'm doing a seminar, I feel an urge, this strange urge to kind of just walk up and meet people, kind of shake hands, start talking to people? Well, in my opinion, we do this as humans to unlock the environment that we're in. And this is really just very important to us because we have to know that that environment is safe. And our brains don't have the ability to say, hey, Owen, don't talk to anybody. You shouldn't do it until you know what the situation is. So our brain gives us this mechanism to keep us safe where anytime that we go into a new environment, it's gonna make us make massive excuses not to talk to people by focusing our selective focus on those excuses. But then in addition to that, literally diminishing our charisma so that we no longer feel like we should talk to anyone because we start to feel like we have nothing to say. Now, look at how that actually compounds on itself, because in many ways what's happening is on one level, your brain is hitting one barrier where you're too afraid to go talk to anybody because you keep thinking there's reasons not to. And then on another level, your mind also messes with you, because what happens is when you feel like you have nothing to say, it's even more so that your mind will start making excuses. Because hey, if you saw that girl there and she seems like she's on the run, but you had a lot to say, well then maybe you'd force yourself to go and approach. But when on one level it's like, oh, I shouldn't approach, and on another level you got nothing to say, it's almost impossible to go talk to anybody. So if you've ever felt like that, understand that it's very, very common. You shouldn't feel bad about that. It's actually your mind protecting you. It means you're not a sociopath. The challenge is, how do you trigger your mind out of that? And look, it's just like the comedians. You gotta walk the room, engage with people, and give your mind proof, not promises, that everything's gonna be okay. You're a great listener. Yeah, you're like very attentive. You're like,
Oh, thank you.
very present.
Thank you. You have a very nice red leather jacket.
Thanks.
I like your leather jacket.
How do you guys know each other?
We are best friends from high school.
Really?
Yeah.
And you knew each other for that long?
Yeah, all of us. We all went to high school together. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I like how happy you look when you talk about it.
Did you go to
I'm Canadian.
How do you know we didn't go to high school in Canada?
I should have thought of that.
Mind blown.
Have you ever been to Toronto?
Yeah.
Do you like it?
I loved it.
I haven't been in a while. Are you guys basketball fans too?
Yeah.
That could make sense. I could see that.
Oh, LA. We're big fans.
Of LA? You want to go?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
I'll put you in a little bubble wrap envelope. I'll
Yeah.
pack you my suitcase.
Yeah. I'm small enough. Love you.
Good night. Love you too.
I love
See you soon. I like the swagger with the cigarette.
Hey, what?
The cigarette swag. You were kind of like,
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
It's okay. How do you know your friends?
I'm here from Germany on holiday.
Germany.
Yeah.
Ah. How do you guys know each other?
What?
How do you guys know each other? Oh, do you guys know each other?
We are best friends.
Oh, got it. Okay.
And my second home is Spanish.
Ah.
Because, yes,
Okay.
I'm not so German.
Got it. LA.
LA?
Yeah.
LA.
I am now, yeah. I grew up in Canada, and my best friend was Polish growing up.
Oh my God.
Yeah, dobrze, dobrze. Jak się masz, pierogi?
Pierogi.
Pierogi, yes.
Ah.
Are you guys headed over there?
Yes, we would like to go to
Cielo.
Cielo. It's our first time here in New York.
Very cool.
Yes.
Very cool. Okay, I'm
First
gonna
day.
let you guys go. Have fun. Good to meet you guys. That's 100% how this is always gonna play out for me. It's, some quick ones, and then when you go in a bit longer, the people start to sense that you're at ease, and they welcome you into the group more, right? So a lot of guys that are getting shoved out of groups is because the person's like, well, this guy's not at ease. He doesn't even want to be welcomed in the group, right? Like, we're all sitting here socializing, but he's not. So if you're in the same vibe as them socializing, they'll welcome you into the group. On those last two groups there, what could have been some of my excuses? Let's catalog them. A lot of girls at table, and I'm reaching over a table. Right. A lot of guys would never do that. Another one would be the guy and the girl together. Do you guys catch that? That guy and a girl together, and yet as soon as I say, how do you guys know each other? She's like, that's just my friend. That kind of, I don't remember she said it quite that urgently, but that's the idea of it. That's how I take it. Now, when I keep breaking it down like this, what am I actually doing as far as my momentum process? What am I doing?
Slowing it down.
Yeah, I'm artificially slowing down my own momentum building process. Now, what's the lesson there? Now, I'm doing it on purpose to make it highly relatable. How about you guys? What do you guys oftentimes do when you go out? This is the big joke of the whole thing. When you go out, I bet you often slow down your own momentum building by chatting with your buddies too much in between, sitting around, waiting. What do you think would have happened to me if I would have just gone bang, 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 bang? What even happened to me when I did a couple in a row quickly right here? right? You see that? So that's kind of the next step to it, okay? So basically, what I'll do now is I'll get you guys to do a bit of the same thing. Point out to me what your excuses are. I want you to catalog your excuses to me and then show me, okay? So just keep coming to me, see the girls, tell me what your excuses are, and then just tell me why it's bullshit, go in. And also, I want you to also focus, and this is the next key because we're building a foundation here, I want you to focus on why you'll do it anyway, but also when you come back, I want you to tell me why it was funny and what you rate the set as, except the set is always 100 out of 10. Okay. Got it? I'm gonna fuck with you over the weekend too, and I'll be like, how was that? And you'll be like, it was okay, and I'll be like, no, 100 out of 10. What do you rate that set? How'd it go?
Pretty not good.
I just trick you.
What?
How did the set go?
Great. 100 out of 10.
Yeah. And look how even as you say it, you're smiling, and then you carry that energy in the next one. And I'm gonna keep hammering you with that, okay? So you want to irrationally view it as they're all amazing. I'm actually more proud of those interactions I did earlier than when I pulled the hottest girls, because it's almost like you're more proud of your first 100,000 you ever made or million that you made than when you've got 100 million and you made another 10 million. You know how they say the first million's the hardest?
Bill in the diner.
Exactly, yes, it's the first bill in the diner is the hardest one. I struggle much more on a Friday night after working all week doing my first interaction than on a late Saturday night when I've been fucking out all night going crazy and then just being like, let's go, to a 10. Who's gonna listen? Because I've been gaming all night, right? It's a lot harder to start opening when you've been working all week than it is to close when you've been gaming all night. So I've already done the hardest part. The 10 at the end of the Saturday is easy. The 6 on the start of Friday night is hard. So repeat after me. The 6 on the start of Friday is hard.
The 6 on the start of Friday is hard.
The 10 at the end of Saturday is easy.
The 10 at the end of Saturday is easy.
Okay, so give yourself credit as you're doing it. Believe me, I get a lot more anxiety in my stomach from walking up to random strangers like, hi, than I do from the end of the night when I've been fucking all night. I know everyone in the club. Everyone thinks I'm great. And I'm like, you can come on. Get in the hot tub. That's easier than when you've been working all week and then just being like, right? That's a lot harder, okay? That's why guys don't get good at game, by the way, because they don't realize they're doing the hardest part first. They're hitting the hardest part from the start, and then they can't figure out why game is so hard. They're like, well, if it's this hard to open a 6, how am I gonna close a 10? But in reality, they're actually doing the hardest part first. They're not seeing it.
First one of the day is always harder than the 7th.
That's the thing, right? Even if the 7th was hotter. In fact, when you're with the hotter ones and you've been in it for a while, it actually feels quite natural. So again, excuse making catalog. Now, why do we focus on this on boot camp? Because after the program, I can show you everything in the world, but unless you're familiarized with what your mind's doing to you, you're not gonna actually game enough. So that's why we have to lay down the foundation. We have to really lay it down firmly here, okay? All right, got it? Okay, so let's just walk over here. What excuse do you make on that one there?
No momentum, haven't done it all night.
Yeah, and she's one of the hotter girls you'll see tonight probably. So just hop in.
I know. I appreciate that.
That's a common mistake to make early in the night, is like the girl's got 2 cups and yet you'll still try to high five because you're more in your head.
Right.
And when you're in your head, you don't notice the small details. That's actually one of the major reasons to get out of your head, is because you notice the small details better when you're out of your head. Follow that? Yeah, because I do the same thing all the time. My default's like a high five sometimes, so I'll be like this and I'm like, she's got 2 things in her hands, but I'm so in my own head that I didn't even notice. Right. You'll respond quicker as your night progresses, okay?
I just did a 10 now. I just fucked a 10.
I know, yeah, there you did. All right, now repeat after me. Emotion is not change with logic. Emotion is change with action. I'm not being contrived when I say that. That's not hypothetical. Say it right now. Emotion is not change with logic. Emotion is change with action. In other words, if you walk into an environment and you logically say, you know what, I'm safe here. I know that as I stop and talk to people that, you know, my selective focus is gonna change. I logically know that, I get that. Well, in my experience, very little is gonna happen. On the other hand, if you start taking action, you start getting into a flow, you start getting more into your body and more out of your head. You take so much action, you overwhelm the thinking mind. Say that again. You take so much action, you overwhelm the thinking mind. Then what happens in my experience is that reticular activation flip begins to take place. And you'll literally see it to where, you know, you start approaching somebody and it's almost like there's, like, you know, the parking brake is on. No matter what you do, it's just really, really difficult. And each one is more and more difficult. It's difficult, the pressure's building, all of a sudden, bam, you feel your reticular activation flip. And all of a sudden what starts to happen is, as you see the different girls, it just seems like the easiest thing in the world to go and approach them. I mean, it gets so easy you can't stop. By the time that the night is over, if you haven't pulled a girl home yet, it is almost impossible to stop approaching people. And this is why I'm so passionate about this, because I feel that most guys don't realize that to meet a 6 at 10 p.m. on a Friday night is actually more difficult because you're in resistance than to pull a 10 at 2 a.m. on Saturday when you've been talking to people all weekend. Crazy, right? Most guys think that meeting women is so difficult because on Friday night, for that first half hour, when it's so freaking hard, you think, well, damn, if it's this hard to meet a girl, it's not that attractive. By the end of the night, to pull a girl home that's really attractive, that'd be almost impossible. So I'm giving up now. And the most ridiculous part of this is, if you really think about it, a lot of my business is really built on the fact that most guys will never go through that wall of the first half hour. I mean, guys will do anything to get out of having to go through that pain of the first half hour because they're going through so much resistance and they don't realize it's gonna get easier. That being the case, decide to take action and recognize what the excuses are, how your selective focus is manipulating your state of mind, and how to take specific processes where you can get over that. Now, what I've done over the years is gotten very, very attuned to how my mind is messing with me. And really, this is similar to back in the day when I do homework when I was a kid, right? It's like, I'm watching television and I say to myself, oh, in 5 more minutes, I'll do my homework. And I really would believe it. But then 5 minutes later, I'd say, well, in another 5 minutes, I'll do my homework. Then 5 minutes later, I'd say, oh, you know what? I'll do my homework after this show. But then the next show would come and I say, oh, I'll do my homework then. And over time, I'd notice I get in trouble at school because I would never do my homework. So over time, I began to realize my mind is playing a trick on me. It's like when you leave the thing of bread on the table at the restaurant, right? And you're like, okay, I'll just have one slice. Next thing you know, you're eating the whole fucking thing. Well, what is that? That's what we call the elephant in the rider analogy. The elephant is taking over. It's fucking tricking you. You gotta recognize it. The multimillionaires on this earth are people who recognize that their mind is tricking them and know how to get through it, right? It's like, you put your keys down. You're like, oh, I'll remember that I put my keys there, but you don't put it in a specific proactive spot where you always put your keys. Your mind tricks you to save time and energy. Repeat that after me. Your mind tricks you to save time and energy, to keep you in your comfort zone, to keep you in your safe spot. You put it down, and next thing you know, you can't find your fucking keys, right? You ever been through that? That's because your mind is tricking you. Be aware of it. So that being the case, much like being an adult, you have to learn, hey, put your keys in the same place. As to being an adult, you have to say, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna do my homework after this next show. I gotta do it right now. You've gotta do the same thing with women. You've gotta understand that your mind is tricking you and making excuses and is completely diminishing your life. That being the case, learn exactly how your mind's tricking you and ask yourself, what's your process gonna be? Do you have a specific process that is gonna carry you through those excuses and make you so that you can get from point A to point B, take you from shit at the start of the night all the way to the promised land? How do you do that? What you gotta do is recognize what your mind's doing and say to yourself, what are the specific things that I'll do when my mind's tricking me as a ritual? You've gotta ritualize it, and once you do that, you'll get a much more positive result. So what's my excuse on that one? The two guys talking to the girl, right?
Yeah.
Stop breaking out my teeth. How are you? How are you doing?
Very good. Dance.
What?
A dance.
Are we dancing?
Yes.
We are? Okay.
What is your racial background?
What's up, man? How we doing? Alex. How's it going, man?
Good. How do you guys all meet?
We all went to school together.
You're kidding. Did you see my brain making excuses there to open with the hug open?
Shit, yeah.
And then what happened when I opened with it?
Absolutely fine.
Like how fine?
Like, almost better than a
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
right?
like, to be honest, like, I was kind of like, when everyone, I was like, oh shit.
Like, does he know her?
For a
Like,
second, I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, damn, he must know her. Like,
yeah,
that was like,
but that's also that hug open thing works awesome. Okay, so basically, it's the mind plays tricks, right? So that's what I'm trying to say is that so much of game is just learning to overcome the tricks.
Totally. Open to learning. I like this.
It's just about learning to control your mind. Just being aware of what your mind will do. It's like the elephant and the rider analogy, right?
Absolutely.
Like your brain is an elephant and you're the rider. It's like you think you're in complete control, you're not, but you can learn how to guide it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so much of the brain's on autopilot that it really is like an elephant.
It's unbelievable.
And it's stubborn.
I couldn't even believe that I wasn't aware that I was making excuses. I didn't even know until you feel like actually be mindful of it. I was like, holy fuck! Every time I look at a girl, it's always excuses coming up, and I'm like,
reticular activation system hammers you with excuse after excuse until you're in gear, and then it hammers you with delusional confidence. Yeah, do it. You got it.
Sorry, man, it just feels too weird. Like something like maybe it's an excuse, but
can you open this? He can't go home with you, he's too shy. I'm from LA, he's from New Zealand. Really? How far do you live from here?
We're taking her car.
You're taking a car?
I would fuck this shit out of you, but unfortunately I had
Okay, so I think there. So were the friends good to have you go initially?
Fuck yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so what you do there, that friend's a cock block because she has a boyfriend. So from her perspective, she's just like, I don't care if those guys come, right? That's about the level of loyalty that a lot of the girls have, like to their friends. So what you had to do is you had to focus more on the friends. Don't focus on her. You got stuck on an obstacle. If I'm doing a sale and then like say somebody in the crowd had an obstacle and then I just sit there fucking focusing on that obstacle rather than just dismissing that person and just focusing on the awesome stuff in the product, right?
I should have just fed momentum with the friends and they would.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I want you to take what I told you and put it to the test because I never like it when people believe what I'm saying just offhand. I really want you to go try it. That's what I'm very proud of as far as these videos, is the fact that you're meant to go test it and see your own results. So that being the case, I'm gonna give you a little bit of a weird experiment and I wanna see if it kind of converts your thinking on this because I find it to be very powerful. What I want you to do is to go out and start giving hugs to dudes, you know, giving a high fives, chatting with them, get them laughing, and notice how your excuse-making mechanism shifts, even just when you're talking to guys. Now, if you do have the experience where just from talking to dudes, all of a sudden, you're not afraid to talk to girls, that should really make you wonder what the heck is going on, and probably you're gonna come to a similar type of conclusion that I came to myself. Now, really this goes even deeper, because the mind is not there to help you advance or elevate most of the time. What your mind is there to do is actually to be like this little temperature or thermometer gauge, and to see when is the right time to advance, and when is the time to hold firm. Funny, right? Like your mind, unless it sees a clear lane open to start talking to people and raise your status, unless it's really sure that it's okay to do that, your mind will really block you. And like I said, don't take it from me. Just look at the fact that when you start talking to guys, all of a sudden it gets easier to talk to women. And then consider the fact that sometimes when you're talking to girls, it's almost impossible to think of anything to say. And at other times, the easiest thing in the world. Well, why is it your mind does that? I mean, how weird is that? The fact that sometimes it's impossible to talk to a girl, sometimes it's easy. Sometimes it's impossible to think of what to say. You draw a blank. At other times, it just won't stop. Why is that? What's going on? Well, like I said, in my opinion, this is happening specifically because your mind is there to keep you in protection rather than shoot you into growth. So when you're walking around this kind of protection mode, realize there's another way that you can see reality. It's simply that you're not in that go for it mode right now, and learn rituals to shift your state of mind. Where are you guys head off to?
There's a little 24-hour Mexican restaurant up there.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna be with the boys, but I just seen what you guys are up to.
Okay.
And then maybe I'll see you there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I'll just go check on the other guys. Okay. What's up? Where are you guys headed to?
What's up? We're gonna get some food. Yeah.
Which place?
I forgot the name. Mark knows the name. He's behind us.
Got it. Okay. Have fun, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Okay.
I am.
Well,
Have fun.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Bye.
Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. Okay. Have fun.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Have fun, guys.
I want a hug.
Of course.
Give me a hug.
Okay. Have fun.
Fucking 7th grade is gonna be hard to get to from here.
What's up, dude?
I'm headed out.
Where do you live?
We're going to probably take Uber.
Get the arm. Get the arm. Get the arm. We'll be at Veselka if you don't get it. Have fun.
Where do you live at?
Ladies first.
Thank you.
Okay, have fun. We'll be at Veselka if nothing happens. Otherwise, have fun. Okay. Okay. Let's go! So what I want to do now is get you hip to the different rituals that I use and really get you testing them initially, but more importantly, using these rituals as inspiration more than anything to create your own rituals based on how you respond when you go out. Now, what I want you to do is to become a very adept elephant rider. So it's almost like if you're riding on an elephant and you put out a little kind of food thing in front of him, you know how to make him turn left. You don't go left, left, turn left, because the elephant doesn't want to, it's scared. But if you kind of distract him with a little bit of food, you can kind of get him moving, and now you're an amazing elephant rider. So I want you to be a very powerful elephant rider so you know how to control your brain and you can get the best results. So let's look at my first ritual. One of my first rituals I call the 6 steps. And what I basically do is I say, open all, everybody, minimize time in between the interactions, find every single approach to be 100 out of 10, and think of something funny about every approach that you do. If you want to see the other steps, look up the 6 steps videos, but that's the basic gist of it. Now, what does that do as far as a ritual? Well, by saying approach all, that gets over the excuse of she's not hot enough, she's too hot, she's on the move. Because you're approaching all, you just do it. Even if it's a dude, you just go say hi, okay? The next one is that you minimize time between the interaction. Well, that's because you'll keep finding an excuse after every approach. So now you've logically gotten over that. Now, the next one is you judge it 100 out of 10 no matter what. That's because what your mind does, you say, oh, it wasn't good, I suck. And whenever you're doing that, it gives you another reason not to approach. Fuck that. Now, the next one is you get in a bad mood. You say, I'm in a bad mood now, right? Well, the way of getting around that is making a ritual that every approach is funny. Whenever I see guys doing a lot of approaches, if they don't maintain that kind of mentality of always judging it 100 out of 10, because who the fuck would have the balls to do that, especially sober, and finding something funny about it, I watch their game go into a downward spiral. Now, a simple ritual like that now means that there is a proactive element in place that prevents you from falling prey to all of these excuses. That's so important. And in life, it's fundamentally about rituals. You see these guys that are making millions of dollars, you think that they're different from you. You think their brain works differently from you. It doesn't. Of course, it's going to be different to a degree, but they still have the same challenges. Your mind is like an old school computer with shitty memory, shitty RAM in it, and you've got to take control to account for that. Look, I don't care how much cash I make, I don't care how much success I get. When I put my keys down, I forget where I put them. I don't care how good a game I am. When I go out, if I don't have a ritual to make myself approach, I'm not going to talk to anybody, and I'm going to go home feeling stupid. That's just reality. That being the case, I want you to be a very good elephant rider. I want you to understand how your mind works, and I want you to get super attuned to it. Once you've done that, you've now taken the steps to join the elite in life. I want you not just part of the masses, I want you to be a part of the elite. That being the case, look at how your mind is holding you down. Look how your mind's creating success bears. Look at how your mind is tricking you, lying to you. Look at people in general whose minds are tricking them and lying to them, and feel bad for them, and realize that you're going to create rituals that are proactive because you know yourself, you have self-knowledge, you have self-tendencies, and if you can master this with women, you can master it in any area of your life. I believe in you. I know that you can do this. I know that it's not that hard. You've watched me now demonstrate it as far as approaching people on the street, and that is a metaphor for life. You are going to take control of your brain. You are going to take control of your life. Fuck excuses. Fuck rationalizations. Now is the time to rise. Okay? This is it. So tonight you're going to go out. Take note of what your mind is doing. Realize it's just a skittish elephant. It's messing with your perception, man. It's not real. It's giving you this negative self-talk, making you beat yourself up. It's not fucking real. You've got to take proactive control. Go do that and see how in the process of creating rituals, you can now begin to shift your life in every area. And in knowing how this will work, I know that you're going to go out and improve your career, improve your health, improve your personal relationships, improve your spiritual growth. You're going to improve everything. But this decision is a metaphor for a change in your entire life. I hope that you've enjoyed seeing us coaching students. I hope that you've enjoyed being here in New York, okay? I've done this video after being out all night on very little sleep. I don't make excuses. I hope that you can be inspired by that example and stop making excuses as well. I'm here for you. I'm excited to hear about your results. I'm excited to continue with you on your journey in an excuse-free world, in a world where we create proactive rituals and not be at the mercy and reaction to the way our mind is working. And I hope that we can come into alignment with our minds, realize that our mind makes these excuses to help us, but realize that we have to take control and help our minds as well. Anyway, it was a lovely experience being here in New York with you. I treasure every single weekend that I do this, and I treasure every video that I offer to you. I share this with you as a gift. I hope that it has been well received, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Dude, I gotta tell you, man, I found this shit when I was like 12. By the time I was 15, I had like a little YouTube video thing, and then like by 19, I did a TED Talk. You guys
really
changed my life so
much.
You're on TED Talk.
Yeah. Jeez, crazy.
Yeah. I do patents now.
I think I read an email from you once or something.
No, the Founders Club Telegram, I think.
Got it.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, you guys helped me so much. I've got like 3 girlfriends. I'm living, and it's so sick, dude. I fucking love it. Yeah.
I love